In the name of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. The interruption last week in our procession through the Gospel of Matthew, caused by the Feast of the Presentation or Candlemas occurring on a Sunday, meant that we missed the lead-up to today's reading from the Gospel. Many of you may have realized that we now find ourselves in the early part of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, but that we missed the Beatitudes, that passage of Scripture that one commentator said was the best known part of the Bible after John 3:16. Fortunately for us, the Beatitudes are read every year on All Saints Sunday, either from Matthew or Luke, so we have plenty of opportunity to consider them. But even though we missed the beginning of the sermon, I think it's good to have some background. We also missed the end of the first chapter of Paul's letter to the Corinthians, in which Paul introduces his reasoning for addressing his concerns regarding the Corinthian church. All that said, I have no intention of preaching two sermons today, last week's and this week's, as much as I really like both Matthew's Gospel and the Corinthian correspondence. It's fortunate, however, that both the Sermon on the Mount and the lion's share of 1 Corinthians, while their contexts are quite different, focus on the same thing, the distinctiveness of the Christian life, especially when seen in the context of a wider society or community. First, Paul and Corinthians. As you may remember, the apostle was writing to a community of Christians which was pretty fractured. Early in the letter, as we heard a couple of weeks ago, we learned that some in the church had declared that they were followers of Paul, others members of Apollos' party, others still part of Cephas's club. Paul was aghast that they would set aside their ultimate allegiance to Christ for these other, less important loyalties. Later in the letter, we read about a number of other reasons these early Christians were so divided, most of them having to do ultimately with socioeconomic factors. The wealthier, for example, thought that they shouldn't have to eat either the same foods or at the same time as the less well-off. Those in the upper socioeconomic levels, often better educated, seemed to believe that their superior education and knowledge, or wisdom, made them, simply put, superior. And so in the passage set for last week, Paul laid out the distinction between the wisdom of this world and the foolishness of the cross of Christ. He asserted that the folly of the cross represented the true power of God. He pointed out that the foolish among the Corinthians actually shamed the wise, and that the acceptance of the folly of the cross set Christians apart from the status-driven standards of a wider Corinthian society. He followed that assertion with what we heard this morning. Faith or trust in God has nothing to do with worldly knowledge or wisdom. There is nothing that Christians can do or learn to attain salvation. It is God's free gift, a gift of wisdom, to be sure, though it is not a wisdom of this age or of the rulers of this age, Paul writes, but God's wisdom, secret and hidden, which God decreed before the ages for our glory. That gift is the Spirit. Not the spirit of the world, Paul writes, but the Spirit that is from God, so that we may understand the gifts bestowed on us by God. And as you know, questions of the Spirit's gifts are what drives much of the rest of the letter, culminating in the great love chapter 13, in which Paul asserts that no gifts, tongues, prophecies, or wisdom, no gifts, no loyalties are so significant that they aren't subject to the much greater law of love. The point of all of this is that Christians not only lived by the law of love, but that law made demands entirely foreign to those prompted by the wisdom at work in the society around them. The situation behind Matthew's Gospel and the Sermon on the Mount was similar, although the context was a bit different. And given that we're so familiar with the Beatitudes, as well as the almost equally familiar sayings about the salt of the earth and light of the world, it pays to step back a bit and see how Matthew tells Jesus' sermon. Recall that Matthew wrote his Gospel about 50 years after Jesus' death and resurrection, and maybe 30 years after Paul wrote. The Romans had leveled Jerusalem and the temple. And so, as I've mentioned before, there was a struggle for the future of Judaism. One party in that struggle were the followers of Jesus. Another were the Pharisees. There was also a bunch of regular folks just trying to make sense out of the situation and to find out who had the best answers. That context is a significant backdrop for reading Matthew's Gospel. What it means is that we have to be careful in reading the Gospel to tease out who in these various stories is Jesus' audience. In some cases, Jesus addressed crowds. In others, he's addressing individuals. On occasion, he did battle with the Pharisees. And in some cases, his audience was limited to his most loyal followers, his disciples. So prior to the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew tells us that Jesus was followed by large crowds. But seeing those crowds, Matthew tells us that Jesus went up the mountain, and his disciples came to him. And he gave the Sermon on the Mount to his disciples, not to the crowds, despite what we may have been taught or thought. His teaching must be seen as being directed to those followers who believe his teaching was better than that of the Pharisees or other groups, not to the crowds who wanted miracles or their next meal. What Jesus taught in the whole of the Sermon on the Mount, indeed throughout Matthew's Gospel, was that there was a particular standard of righteousness that would mark his followers. Seeing the sermon in the light of the tussle over who would be the worthy heir of Judaism highlights Jesus' contrast between simply keeping to the letter of the law on the one hand, and on the other, going beyond that to live the spirit of the law. In today's reading, Jesus played upon salt and light's status as commodities. Commodities are meant to be used. But those who only lived up to the letter of the law were like saltless salt, whatever that might mean. Useless. Those who would claim to be in a relationship with God but did nothing to live it out were like a lamp, but a useless one because it was under a bowl. It was the living out of that particular righteousness demanded of Jesus' followers that made the blessed the blessed. Living as they ought would be both salt and light, but salt for the earth, light for the world. That is, the righteousness that they lived was meant to be as a witness to others, not just a point of pride regarding personal piety. Paul and Jesus both outlined a way of being children of God that stood in stark contrast to the communities around them. Paul knew what it was like to live in a Gentile world. He was born outside of Palestine. He recognized early on that his ministry would be among people who could claim no connection to the morals and beliefs of the children of Abraham. Yet he was particularly suited by experience, education, and vision to proclaim and live the gospel of Jesus Christ in such a way that non-Jews sat up and took notice. And clearly they did, as our presence here this morning attests. But when he learned of Corinthians, who claimed to be followers of Christ, subordinating commitment to Christ in favor of loyalties to other leaders, or retaining Greco-Roman societal norms within Christian gatherings, he called them on the carpet, shaming them for that behavior, as well as instructing them in what true discipleship should be. Likewise, Jesus in Matthew's Gospel called those who would be his followers to a life beyond simple conformity to rules. Much of the rest of the 5th chapter of Matthew illustrates this. As we'll be reminded next week, Jesus taught his disciples by saying, "You have heard it said, but I say unto you." In those instances, Jesus was clearly referring to the other would-be successors to temple-based Judaism who claimed that righteousness was found in keeping the letter of the law. In response, Jesus pointed to true righteousness. You have heard how it was said, eye for an eye, and tooth for tooth. But I say to you, offer no resistance to the wicked. On the contrary, if anyone hits you on the right cheek, offer the other as well. Or, you have heard it said, you will love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say this to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Why? So that you may be children of your Father in heaven. In living a righteousness that goes beyond the letter of the law, Jesus' followers would be perfect, just as their heavenly Father is perfect. Paul and Jesus followed the lead of Isaiah, who in the first lesson we heard today told his audience that following ritual rules, fasting in this instance, was no substitute for seeking and enacting justice. As the prophet proclaimed to the self-satisfied religious elite of his day, is such the fast that I choose a day to humble oneself? Is it to bow down the head like a bulrush and to lie in sackcloth and ashes? Will you call this a fast, a day acceptable to the Lord? Is not this the fast that I choose? To loose the bonds of injustice, to undo the thongs of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free, and to break every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry and bring the homeless poor into your house, when you see the naked to cover them, and not to hide yourself from your own kin? If you remove the yoke from among you, the pointing of the finger, the speaking of evil, if you offer your food to the hungry and satisfy the needs of the afflicted, then your light will rise in the darkness, and your gloom be like the noonday. Isaiah's forcefulness was as clear as both Paul's and Jesus's. True righteousness, true fidelity to God was made plain in practical action and measured in acts of justice. For none of the three, as some Christians have wanted to preach, was there such a thing as private piety. For none of them was there a disconnect between how they worshiped God and how they engaged in the world. Such a compartmentalization of faith or belief from day-to-day living, regardless of context, was an absolute abomination. Paul, Jesus, and Isaiah called their original audiences to disavow any belief that satisfying minimal legal requirements was sufficient for those who answered God and his call to a higher morality. And they asserted that any loyalty to any other leader meant disloyalty to God. As their contemporary audience, we who would own the faith of Jesus must listen carefully.